Bam! Welcome to the Strong Life Podcast with your host James Robinson and my boy Anthony Shaw, the man, the legend. How's it going, bro?
Yeah, man, really good. Chilled out, ready to talk about whatever.
Ready to talk about whatever, man. Well, listen, I mean,
Ask me anything.
dude, don't test me today, bro. I'm wired, man. I'm wired. It's been a big day. No, I mean, listen, so just for the listeners out there, Ant is a very good friend of mine. He's also a peer of mine. We look up to him massively. Tony and myself, we look up to him massively as a gym owner and just as an entrepreneur. He's a good guy. He's got his head screwed on. He's really driven, and he's one of those guys you'd say, oh, just definitely not a mediocre human being. That's for sure. So I mean, obviously, keeping within FJ standards, there's no one better to have as our first official guest than you, bro. So
first guest, yeah.
You're my first guest, bro. I mean, we messed it up last week, didn't we? You and me.
Yeah. This is my second time doing the podcast now.
Your second time, but still first guest. You're my one and only, man. You're my one and only.
What an intro. At least I'm definitely the best guest so far. We can accurately say that as a scientist.
You sure can. You sure can. So I'll tell you what, bro. Tell us a little bit about you, about your gym and your philosophies, just with training and all that kind of stuff, bro.
Okay, cool. So, run a gym, Raw Strength Gym in Warrington. Live in Manchester. Don't ask why the gym's in Warrington. It's an even longer story, but I mean, we can get into that later. Actually, that might be a good story. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I started playing rugby league. I moved from South Wales to Manchester to try and make it as a pro rugby league player, but just wasn't good enough, wasn't big enough, wasn't strong enough. So I did my sports science degree, did my rugby league coaching certificates, and ended up being a strength and conditioning coach with Salford City Reds, now Salford Red Devils. I did a year's work with them with the academy, but it was unpaid, so it was a struggle, to be honest, after I graduated to do the job that I love, which was strength and conditioning for rugby. So I set up my own business, Raw Strength Gym, which was not really a gym, more of a storage container. I'll have to send you some pictures. You can put it in the show notes or whatever after we do this. But
yeah, I'd love that.
It had a storage unit. Couldn't pay the rent on that because my business knowledge was just terrible. And that's really the key. If you can't market yourself and sell your training and get across to a lot of people, then you can't help anyone. And so I was in that position for probably 4 years, I'd say, struggling, having part-time jobs and moving the gym from storage unit to garage to a decent-sized warehouse.
Yeah.
Then I went and got a business coach, and he just kind of sorted my mindset out, sorted out, my pricing, and actually did the stuff that I didn't really like doing, so the business side of things, if you like. Yeah. And that allowed me to focus on the coaching and making our programs better and doing better nutrition and really supporting loads and loads of people, because before I used to train just athletes, and I just want to train athletes. But for the past 2.5 years, I've been training everyone, but with athletic training methods. So I think that's kind of my unique thing, if you like, that I use correct strength and conditioning methods and scientific methods of training and nutrition, but also with, I guess, the mindset that everyday non-athletes need from being stressed out with work and business and maybe trying and failing on diets or whatever in the past. And it's really cool, man. I never thought my life would go this way, to be honest. And now I'm in a gym that is awesome. It's massive. We got the AstroTurf, everything. I'm really happy that the business has gone the way that it has. And I'm really happy that I train the people that I do. It's been a crazy journey so far. So that's probably the last 10 years of my life to get here.
Man, that's huge, dude. Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it last week. A lot of people think that, we wake up, we think we might have a little bit of money in the bank, and we go, shit, let's go open up a gym. They see someone owning a gym, and they think, oh man, they fortunate or they struck it lucky or whatever. But to be fair, the journey, I mean, my journey is very clear to you as well. And the journey was rough. It was hard. It was a proper kind of character building journey to get to
Yeah,
where
well,
we are.
that gives you depth, doesn't it, man? That's the difference. Is some people can come into fitness after a 6-week qualification and be training people that don't know the difference between that and you or me, who's been doing it for years and years, probably since they're 11 or 12 lifting weights, and
Yeah,
that's the depth and the essence and the um, anecdotal evidence plus the research and the science or whatever boring crap. It all boils down to having someone with experience, I suppose, and someone who's been through a load of crap is someone who can tell you how to be successful.
definitely.
I don't think there's anyone that's been successful in sport or business or whatever that hasn't had massive failures along the way, because you've got to be resilient to achieve your goals, whether it's losing 2 stone or building a £1 million a month sales company. It ain't going to come straight away. So yeah, it's a big mistake when people just think they can jump in to any business really, but definitely with a gym, because gyms are volatile. You got to work with hundreds of people. You got to be good with people. You got to constantly give your emotional energy away. And I think, as much as this podcast is for people who want to get in shape, also any coaches listening, you got to realize that taking care of yourself is the number one thing you can do to be a better coach. If you can have more holidays, or if you can take more chill time in the week, then you recharge yourself and you put it into other people and make them better. You're not going to get a depressed, frustrated, grumpy coach making incredible people.
No, that's that's a
I think I
knowledge
learned that
bomb
the
right
hard
there.
way.
Yeah, yeah. I think we both did, bro. Oh man, that's true though. But I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like depth, depth of a trainer is is very few and far between, in the sense that I can't remember the guy's name, but he did this little skit, and it was essentially talking about social standard. And if you think of like a client's mentality, um, so to the listeners out there, this will resonate with you quite a lot. Like in your mind, like in a guy's mind, okay, he knows that he wants to lose weight. Okay, so if he thinks lose weight, he thinks diet, he thinks 6-pack abs, he thinks top of Men's Health cover, right?
Yeah.
So if you walk up a set of stairs and you see 3 types of trainers. On the right, you've got this guy, looks like cover of Men's Health, just qualified PT. He knows absolutely nothing about training other people, but he knows everything about training himself because he just loves training himself. And he's got great genes, so he just looks great. So he thought, you know what, freaking hell, if I look great, I love spending my day in the gym. Why don't I become a personal trainer? That's that guy.
Yeah.
Then on the left, you got a guy who's ultra skinny, who's got absolutely no muscle tone at all, but his knowledge and depth in terms of what he knows as a trainer is just huge. Like he knows the science, he knows everything.
Call me skinny, bro.
But he's got no application. He's got no social skills. He's got no way of delivering it.
Yeah.
And then there could be the guy in the middle who may not look like the Men's Health guy to a client's perspective, but he could have the depth of the guy on the left, and he could have the application to train himself as well as train others. But because of your perception, you will be led to what may looks like, the right thing. And that's just nature itself at the moment. It's just a social standard that people have like conformed to, and you feel that you have to conform yourself to. And yeah, as a trainer, like it's so important for you to not necessarily fit that social standard, but you have to also be able to practice what you preach as well. So if you're working 1 million hours a week, not eating, not looking after yourself, but then telling your clients who have these high-powered jobs, well, you need to stop every 2 hours and just take a little walk because you're sitting at a desk all day, or blah 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 blah. Then you're a complete hypocrite. Absolutely.
So I think we should play a game.
Go for it.
I'm not going to get some booze now. This could get exciting. Let's imagine that we are both the mental we're both the brain of someone who's out of shape. So you could take my brain out and your brain out and combine them, put them into the mind of someone who's just woken up from a coma. They don't have any memories, but they're definitely out of shape. How could we transform that person's life? I think this is where it gets very interesting, because then you can apply the knowledge in a different situation. Just sort of like a tangent from this, imagine if I'd been a rugby coach and I'd done the path that I want to go on from being 21 to now. I'd have years and years and years of being a specialist at just training rugby players. So I'd be good with rugby injuries, I'd be good with the rugby lifestyle, etc., etc. But then if you gave me someone who was 75, their spine was kind of completely bent over, they had no strength, could I apply my knowledge across? Obviously, there would be transfer and I'd know what I was doing, but I wouldn't be as good as someone who trained people from all walks of life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So getting back to like a thought experiment thing, me and you've got a lot of experience with a lot of different people. So let's imagine all those issues in this one imaginary person. How could you then transform their life? If that was you were waking up from that coma, let's say you're 20 stone, you're 5'8", and you should be 12 stone and lean and ripped and everything. And it's going to be like, let's say, 3-4 year journey. What would your first thought be in that situation? Like, how could you change? How could you live a better life?
Well, this is a tough game. So essentially, what you're saying is,
you go, I go.
So what you're saying is, I am the superhuman guy, but I've been in a coma. Is that what you're saying? Superhuman brain, but my body's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. So how could someone who is in that situation now, but who doesn't have the brain, rewire their brain to think in this way, and what action should they take?
I think the most important thing is it doesn't
we won't
matter.
Cover like get a hotter girlfriend, get a better job. We'll leave those out.
I think the most important thing is you have to remember that information is rife all around the world, but you need implementation. So I think what I would do, even if I knew whatever you say I know, I would just get a coach. Just give me step one, the guy who's good at, the physio that's good at getting me walking again.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do. You?
No, that's important, man, because I'm going to make some notes. I'm going to get into this. Every great athlete in the world, every champion, every great person, whether it's president of America or CEO or Olympic gold medalist, they've all got coaches, people that help them, people around them, people they can talk to. So yeah, going it alone is like the biggest mistake, and getting a coach is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
What would I do? I'm a big fan of like checklists and countdown things, so I'd probably go for like a big 100-day push of going for a walk every day. Like a small action, but repeated over time can then be a huge lifestyle change. I think that would be what I would do is the first thing, especially if you couldn't lift, if you maybe didn't have time to go to the gym. It's something that, everyone can get up half an hour early and go for a walk first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. Right, back to you. Your turn.
Yeah, I mean, I think once I've got my physio, I'd get a nutritionist. And just with everything. I mean, this is assuming that we have the resources to do this, but essentially, like, if I've been in a coma, you got to think that I've just now got a second lease on life. So I'm definitely going to look after this body this time around, massively. So I think with anything, as you said, like, if you want anything done properly, you need a coach, 100%. So, if you want to be the best at sales for your company or whatever, then you're going to have to do extra studying. You can't just do what every guy in the office has done, because then you're only going to stay within that box of knowledge. But if you start like pursuing other kind of avenues and other thoughts, you start getting better. You start like, grinding the stone, turning the rough diamond into a shiny stone. And I think that's massive with anything. So, if your nutrition's down to shit, you got to get someone who's an expert at nutrition. If your if your training's down to shit and you've been training for ages and you still can't see results, it's time you go get a strength coach and see what's going on. And it's the same. It's the same with anything. I think. I don't know. This game could go far, bro. I mean, what's your second point on there? Because I think you're excited to tell me what yours is.
I'm just making notes. So you're saying like don't do what everyone else is doing. If everyone else is going to the gym and running, don't bloody do that. Go and lift weights and get a coach. If everyone else is trying to do it by themselves, you do it with someone else. It's unlikely that the herd mentality is the right mentality, I think.
Yeah, that's very true. Like the road less traveled is more likely going to take you to where you want to be. And
man.
More often than not, it's the road that's going to require a lot more blood, sweat, tears, commitment, everything. And a lot of people just don't have the tenacity, don't have the willpower to just make that initial step, and then to stay on it and to just fucking bite your teeth and not give up. Like that's the difference between high achievers and the people that just there to fill the numbers.
Yeah, and I think I call that resilience, the ability to just not give a fuck and just keep pushing. Yeah. And let me think. I had a point then, I've completely lost it. But with the gym for 4 years when I was running it as my business, it sucked. I had no pleasure. I didn't take any holidays for like 3 years. In my part-time job, I worked every Saturday, I worked every evening. I couldn't play rugby anymore, even as a hobby. But at no point did I ever think I'm going to give up. And I don't know why. Maybe it is something that's intrinsically in me, or maybe it was I would be embarrassed because everyone knew that I run a gym, and you don't want to be the guy who had a failed business, even though there's nothing wrong with that. So I think in terms of fitness, I think it's realizing that you have your body until you die, until your mind leaves and everything switches off and you're gone. You've got that body. Like, it isn't a choice to have health or to be in shape. It's a privilege.
Yeah.
And you only have it for a certain amount of time. And that drives me because it terrifies me to see people who, they're in their 60s and they can't move properly. And the only reason is because they haven't stretched and mobilized and lifted weights and kept, muscle mass for as long as possible. I see now between 28 now, 29 next Friday if you want to buy me a present. And
you know what? To be fair, I actually thought about it. Seeing I'm seeing in Liverpool, I was like, "Oh, what should I buy you?" And then I was like, "Well, actually, I might just buy you a steak on Thursday night."
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd probably be the best present I'll get. And so between, like, let's say 28 and 40, that's a golden period where, I've got 11 years to build muscle. And then, I'm sure you can build muscle in your 40s. I know you can because I've got clients like that. But let's say it definitely stopped at 40, just for this example. This is my time now to build as much muscle as possible, as much strength as possible. And then I can spend that, if you like, in my 40s, 50s and beyond, and just try and, scrimp and save or whatever. Or if you did think of that as your retirement fund almost, you build in that muscle and that strength to kind of live your later years without pain, without arthritis, with full mobility and having a fun and awesome life, I think, is people just seem to take for granted that, just can be fit before my holiday, or I'm just going to be fit when all my friends are going. I'm just going to be fit in the first few weeks of January every year. It's taking your body for granted and presuming that you're going to be healthy forever. And that doesn't take into account, you might get disease, you might get injured. I feel like I always get really negative when we do this podcast. But, but there's things in life that you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea. And so to me, training is essential because you're training for life. You're training for the rest of your life. And if you don't have that mindset now, then you're going to push for a bit and give up. And you're going to be let down. Like, I do jiu-jitsu now, and I've done it for a year. And my attendance is terrible because I make all these excuses about being busy and running the gym. But basically, like, from day one, I went in there and didn't know anything. And I still feel like I know nothing. And I think you have to have that mindset of, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter whether I'm a black belt in 5 years or a black belt in 20 years, because when you get to the black belt, you've got that for the rest of your life. There's no like real benefit in terms of progression if all you want is the next progression. But if you're in it for the long haul and you want to learn those skills for the rest of your life so you can have it in your life for good, then that's an important shift in your mindset. So I think that's not something that would be a gradual shift. That'd be something you just decide, right, from now on, my fitness is for the rest of my life. My health is for the rest of my life. However it goes, I'm going to improve it immediately. So it is part of my lifestyle now. I think people think like lifestyle is such a weird non-thing that you can't define, but really it's the mindset.
Yeah, I mean, and that's huge, bro. I think basically from my point of view, like how many people our age do you think have a retirement fund?
I'd say less than 1%.
Yeah. So, the mindset of everyone right now is so short term, you know. It's like, what's my short term game this weekend? Like a lot of people will just train hard this week because they want to look good on Saturday night. And,
Yeah.
and what you're saying is absolutely bang on, is they are taking it for granted massively. Like if you were to honestly show someone that if they stayed on a path, the current path of say say destruction, I know it sounds so negative now, but
Let's
for
do it. Let's get grumpy.
let's do it. So
Destroying your lives, people.
okay, let's talk about the fucking 95% of people who live for the weekend, who hate their job, who completely fuck themselves up on a weekend. Like I'm talking,
Like Tony. Like, he's not even on this podcast now.
yeah, he's already weekend started Thursday. Oh, he's already
He's
like,
gone. He's in the pub.
oh, he's sniffing, he's drinking, he's everything. But
Sorry, man. I'll be serious.
but yeah, essentially, so there's no investment into their body at all, and it's all short term. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, you and I know this very well. We victims of short term when it comes to business minds sometimes. So we'll be
Yeah.
like, no, I've done all this graft, all this blah blah blah. I deserve to see results tomorrow for my business, and it just doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't work that way. It's all about the long game. It's all about, what little seeds are you planting now? What little mustard seeds are you planting now that's going to grow into this huge mustard tree? You know? And it's the same with like your as you say, the word lifestyle. A lot of people think about that still as like now if I said, listen, it's really, for someone who approached me and wanted to come train at FJ, and I say to them, okay, so I'll let you onto our 8 week program. I think you'd be a suit. This is after the full application process. I think you'd suit our culture and community, but I need to know one more thing. I need to know that you're going to make this a lifestyle change rather than just the next 8 weeks. And the amount of people are like, yeah, no, no, lifestyle, like as if it's like this thing now of of like fashion, where it's just like, yeah, a fashionable term to say, oh, I lead a healthy lifestyle. No, no, you don't. You lead a healthy period in your life. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like, how many people, like we sadly profit off so many people that will only train for summer holiday.
Yeah.
Even though I know you and I come from the very same mentality of we don't care about this. Like, yeah, we'll get you into shape. Don't get me wrong, because that's what we do. I mean, train with us will get you into shape. But what we care about the most is how can we affect your life long term.
Yeah.
That for us means that we're doing our job, because it means that we've we've been able to influence you in a way that you have positive things in your life that's going to give you longevity, happiness, keep you away from anxiety, depression, and all that other crap, getting fat, sickness, disease, whatever, all because you live a healthy, happy lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
And that's long term. And I think, as you say, like, my biggest fear is to be really, really old and fucking decrepit and just can't move. You know, like
Yeah.
being, I played, for the listeners out there, I played pro rugby as a hooker. So, front row. I mean, my neck's taken a beating for years, and I'll be honest with you, I've got like really bad pains every now and then in my neck, like proper like joint pains, like. And I've seen a few physios, and the one woman even said, "Oh, I think it's early signs of arthritis." And I was like, "What? Are
Yeah.
you mad?" But I mean, the beating that my body's taken over the years does will have an effect on me long term, and
Yeah.
I do whatever I can now to make sure that I can be as mobile, as injury free as possible. I mean, I remember playing a rugby game in Scotland, and I was playing like Premiership rugby up there, and the props were injured, and I was quite a big hooker at the time,
Yeah.
so they asked me to shift over to prop, and I thought, you know what, I played prop when I was like 14. How bad could it be playing a competitive, like high competitive rugby now? I'm just gonna play. Take one for the team. I got to, the team is bigger than me.
This sounds like a bad idea.
Oh my greatness! So I played loose head prop, which obviously all the pressure is going through your hips, only onto one shoulder.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I woke up the next morning, couldn't get out of bed, and basically I just really had displaced disc in my lower back, L4, L5,
Wow.
and I couldn't move for 2 weeks. It was horrible. It was so painful. And then I remember going to a chiropractor and him clicking me, and I could walk out of there, and I felt great. And then within like 2 3 hours, I'd be back. And I mean that's horrific. That is just not something you want to be going through.
Yeah.
Um, and we see back pain all the time. But then a lot of people think, oh, that's my life now. This is how I got to live. It doesn't have to be that way. Like I've never had a
Yeah.
back surgery or anything. I just sorted out my mobility, sorted out my core instabilities as well. And I mean now I'm a proud owner of a current 276 deadlift. You know,
Nice. I'm
and
catching you.
oh mate, I'm trying to erase Dean to 300, bro. Um, but I mean that's it. Like yes, fine. You could have done things to damage your body, but what are you going to do now? What are you going to do today to make yourself better? And then something we spoke about, something we preach at FJ, and you and I spoke about it last week a little, is that 1%.
Yeah.
Like how can you accumulate all these little 1% every day over a course of a year, 5 years, 15, 25 years? Like, can you be 1% better today? So, were you drinking 9 fucking double espressos a day because you reckon you need to because you're tired and blah blah blah? How about you just start cutting that down because that's fucking unhealthy and you know it. Okay, cool. So whatever that little decision was, that decision meant that you were 1% better today. Okay, so now you don't train, you don't do anything, you don't have time. Okay, why don't you just go for a walk at lunchtime today? Oh fuck, there you are. There's another 1% better that
Yeah.
you weren't the day before. And I think, I mean, if you can correct me, your points on that, you had something quite big on that 1% accumulation. What was it?
Man, I can't remember.
It was powerful, bro. I think
I think
you're
it's
just
probably
saying that like resilience. You're big. You love
yeah.
that word.
I think for me personally, like in terms of having very high expectations for what I want to achieve in life, it's a very destructive mindset because I can get to the end of the day or the end of the month or the end of the year and think, oh, I haven't achieved this, this, and this because my expectation is so high. So I don't look at the positives. So actually, something I started doing was at the end of every day, I would get a postcard out and I'd write something positive down because I was making myself depressed from coaching and from the business. Because let's say 1 month I wanted to get 50 new clients because I had a new program that was running and I only got 5. I would put myself into a massive depression, even though I've still grown the business. And so I was having to write things down I send you a picture, man. I've got a huge corkboard above my desk with all these postcards on, and every time I feel down, I just look at those and think each one of those postcards was one day where I did one positive thing, and there's probably no day that goes by that I can't find a positive. And it's looking at that in terms of fitness. You could do the exact same thing. You know, yeah, I don't have a six pack today, but I made my lunch for tomorrow. You know, and I didn't do that yesterday. And then the next day, yeah, I don't have a six pack yet, but went for a walk this morning and I've made my breakfast and my lunch for tomorrow. And then you just go on and on and on. So yeah, it's huge. It's like stacking the cards in your favor, literally, when you do that postcard thing. So that helped for me. That was like a Tim Ferriss thing I think I stole. He has like a positivity jar, and he just writes things on scraps of paper and then puts it in the jar, and you have to do it every day. You have to be positive. And it used to be extremely negative, and that's like transformed the way that I think.
That's huge, man. I love that.
Going down that line as well, like now I know, like when I first started out in business, and I know this is a fitness podcast, but I think this is a good example. I didn't know what I was doing in terms of advertising and marketing, and so I wasn't helping many people, including myself. I was miserable. My girlfriend was miserable. Didn't have any money. Never saw my friends. And now I know that there are people out there who know how to teach me about ads and marketing, how to teach me about sales. And I know that I've got you and all my other friends who are coaches that can teach me about things I don't even know that exist, like natural remedies for colds or how to mobilize your nerves. Like I literally learn things all the time that I didn't know existed. But what you can be sure of is there's someone out there that does know that shit. Yeah. And so how can you live your life, or why would you want to live your life in pain or live your life in weakness or whatever, or being overweight, when you know there are people out there that are waiting to help you? It is their job to help you.
Fucking hands down, bro.
It's ridiculous that you'd even want to do that.
Mate, that's huge. That is honestly, that is so big. Because yeah, I mean, the amount of stuff I've learned from just you and some of the lads as well, it's just crazy. And I mean, I consider myself, it sounds really arrogant, but I love learning.
Just say it, Jens. You're the best coach.
No, man. I love learning, and I've got a massive passion for like gaining knowledge every day. I have to read a new article or see like some of my other massive peers around the world to see what they're doing, and reach out to them and just learn some new shit. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But then the best is like when you learn something small that you didn't realize. Like this is massive now what I'm going to drop now. I've struggled with my weight loss for years, okay?
Yeah.
Absolute years. Like when I was a kid, when I was like 10, 11, 12, I got really fat, okay? And that's all down to essentially in principle, my dad's company started doing very well.
Yeah.
And as a family, we were going out for more dinners, and I remember being like 10, 11 years old, having like a 500-gram steak in South Africa with like chips and sauce and everything. And this was like a few times a week. It was bad,
Yeah.
Anyway, and long story short, I was a really good sportsman though. So, I mean, I remember being like 12, 13 years old, playing like high-level sport, like rugby, tennis, all these kind of things, and baseball. I was really good at baseball, and then when it required me to be the next level, the best level I could be, I had this really bad sports-induced asthma problem, and I could never be as fit as the other guys, and it frustrated me because I knew what I was capable of, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't get there. I couldn't beat the guy to the ball because I was dying, like not physically dying, but I couldn't breathe or whatever.
Yeah.
And essentially, it manifested itself into a point that I needed help, and I saw someone back then, and I was so young, I can't really remember what her job title was, but essentially she was a natural health coach or whatever. But this was after seeing every other specialist that I could see. Okay, and she said to me that it was down to the bad bacteria in my body, in my gut, that was causing the asthma, and that I had to go on a specific diet, whatever. So I went on this diet, lost all the asthma, and I mean I did this diet for about 3.5 months. I lost 12 kilos in
Yeah.
three months. As a kid, that's huge. I lost my asthma, and it changed my life. Three
Yeah.
months later, I made the South African junior baseball team and like all kinds of stuff. Like it completely transformed everything. And then that was it. And then I led a healthy lifestyle all the way till I came to the UK.
Right.
And I was in London for about
When you found fish and chips.
no, this is worse, bro. I mean, I can't believe I'm admitting to this
Well, let's
on
do
the
it.
podcast, but I mean, let's do it. Let me be transparent. Um, I came
That's
to
important,
London.
man. It's important that you don't
Yeah, exactly,
put out this fake image of Instagram or whateverness. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
you got to
no,
London, you got off the boat.
I got off the boat and I got hit with what we South Africans joke as the Heathrow injection. So you just get
What's
fat straight away. No, I'm joking. No, I mean I was in London for about 6 months playing rugby, trying to make it, and things fell through with my agent and all kinds of stuff. It was horrible.
yeah,
Eventually, I got a contract to go play pro rugby up in Scotland. Okay, and they were going to provide a house, a job. It was like when I say pro, like back then it was like paid amateur in my eyes. So yeah, you're going to play rugby, you're going to get paid for it, but it's not your full time job. You're going to need a job as well. So
right,
so long story short, I was like working construction. We were broke. Like we literally Joel's my wife didn't have a visa to work, so she didn't work. So we lived on like peanuts a month, and it was tough. And I remember like some nights, there was no money in the bank that we had to like go to Tesco's and buy like uh, for like £1 you could get like 10 sausage rolls,
yeah,
and that would be dinner some nights, and it was quite bad, but whatever. It was a character building time, and then I got an opportunity to start working. Like I did a S&C course as part of like the Scottish Rugby Union, and then it kind of opened my eyes to a bigger future, and then I started volunteering and stuff, and I really got into training rugby players just like yourself. It's quite funny how similar our stories are.
mm,
And then eventually, decided to move down to London, do personal training from a financial point of view that made a lot of sense,
yeah,
but also in hope to train professional athletes. Obviously, that doesn't work entirely, even though I do have pro athletes, but it doesn't. You can't build a business around it. Anyway, so
yeah,
that time in Scotland was so bad for me in terms of nutrition wise, that what all the bad bacteria that we don't want in our system, that had an opportunity to grow and build itself up. And I didn't make sense of this, all right? So now, over the years, over the last 8 years, I've studied everything I thought I could possibly study regarding nutrition. Okay,
yeah,
I've seen some of the best nutritionists, whatever, in London, and sports nutritionists, whatever, and I've never been able to drop below about an 18 to 20% body fat. So I just can't get past that, no matter how much I eat or how little I eat or how I play around with metabolic flexibility, whatever. Okay, no matter
yeah,
what I did, there was this wall, and it was so hard to break, and it didn't even matter how long I tried, just nothing was happening. And and it wasn't until, I mean, I train hard, bro. Like, I mean, I train hard, I eat well, like everything. Like, and then it wasn't until meeting Ryan, who's now my coach, and now I didn't, again, like it just shows you the transparency of what you were saying as well. Like, we need coaches. Doesn't matter how much we know, we don't know everything. Hence why go get a
yeah,
coach and get better.
yeah,
And so I invested into having Ryan look after me, and he made this entire story apparent to me, how my life when I was a kid, and then how my life changed, and then my life in Scotland, how that has affected my internal gut like homeostasis so badly that because of that, whatever I do nutrition wise, whatever, will always have an effect unless I restore that. And
Right.
it didn't make sense to me,
It's
but
crazy. That's like magic.
yeah, but I needed to trust him. And I mean, I post Croatia, so Croatia was 7 weeks ago. I was still weighing in at about 118 kilos,
Yeah.
and now I'm down to like 110, bro. And it's the first
Same.
time I've ever seriously started to see a weight difference, um, all because of my gut health and where it was. So I've
Yeah.
been through a serious journey over the last 7 8 weeks, which is a journey that you cannot do on your own. You need a coach to just keep you on track. I'm not gonna lie. There's been 2 or 3 occasions where I was just like, oh, am I fucking kidding myself here? What am I doing, bro? It goes against everything I thought I knew
So
about nutrition.
can you tell me what you had to do?
I
Is it
mean, yeah,
trade
dude.
secret?
Like, no, I mean, dude, information is rife. Implementation is the key. So, I mean, there was a period where I was vegan for a week, right?
You.
Yeah, me,
Wow.
the South African meat lover. Like, never in my life have I ever gone a day without eggs or steak. And
But that
now,
was like causing like an intolerance or something.
well, it wasn't really that. What it was, so uh, basically, what it was it didn't matter how healthy I ate because of the bad bacteria. Like these bad bacteria are so powerful single cell organisms that they dictate so much. So your gut and your head are interlinked. They so a lot of the time. So like when you talk about butterflies, butterflies in your stomach, how it relates to nervousness. Like that's a real thing. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just like, I mean, obviously it's a thing, but I didn't realize that like it is literally a neurotransmitted response in the sense that you have the exact same amount of neurotransmitters throughout your gut as you do in your brain. Did you know that?
So when you feel that in your stomach, that's a thought.
That's, yeah, so that's your stomach stressing as well as your head. It's
Ah,
not
you
just your
blow my
head.
mind.
Yeah, it's huge. I didn't know this, right? So then, I mean, I can't wait to have Ryan on here. He can just
I'm
blow our minds.
gonna
But
call him now. I
yeah,
need to hire him.
it's huge. So basically, these single cell organisms are so powerful, right? Like imagine this like horrific looking thing, and now it grows on and multiplies on any kind of form of like a what's the word, like a glycogen type vibe. Okay, so
Yeah.
like if you have rice, rice will then convert over, and then it will fuel this to grow, or bread, obviously, like all the glutinous stuff, like like gluten is a huge easy fix for this thing. Any kind of sugar, okay.
Yeah.
But then any kind of oils, so like any rancid oil, i.e., rapeseed oil, okay,
Mm.
fuels this shit and ruins your internal gut state. Now, 95% of British products ever produced currently on the market are produced with rapeseed oil.
What do you mean products?
Like anything you buy in the house, bro, even things that seem clean, have a look and see if there's any oil in there, and it'll have rapeseed oil in, and that's rancid as shit, and it just fucks you up. I didn't even know this, so now he completely changed my mind, and he put me on. So you go through like a whole period, like his whole online thing is just crazy. It's so good, but you go through this period where at first you just kind of slowly start cutting out. But he works on you mentally as well as physically, which is
Yeah.
great. And then it gets to a point where yeah, I was vegan for a week, bro. Like that was huge. And then I essentially,
Was it hard?
it
Or did you
was,
crave meat or anything?
bro. To be honest, my mentality was I hadn't eaten the entire week. That's what it felt like. I,
Sorry, continue. I'm just
yeah,
putting in.
no, no, dude. I honestly felt like I hadn't eaten the entire week. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. It was so hard. But
You mean mentally you felt like that, or you literally felt the hunger pain and
oh, bro, I was hungry, bro. I was hungry, man. Oh man, I could have eaten. Dude, there was a time on this Saturday night we were sitting having We were sitting outside with friends, and I'd had like a broccoli salad, and
Nice.
I heard there was like a deer just outside, and I swear I could have killed it to eat it. That's what was going through. I was like, "Argh!" I could have eaten that thing, bro. Oh man, it was so funny. So, and then I had to go through like a whole another period of like, I'm gonna say the word juicing, but it's not juicing that's commercially gone out. It's like
Yeah.
these extremely incredible, high nutrient, very high nutrient, like shakes. It's not a protein shake, but it's just like fermented berries and fermented veg and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and that was powerful. So all this stuff, we basically cleansed my gut, and then we rebuilt it and restored it, and now we slowly on the journey. But what was happening with me was, like, let's be honest, most of the time people are overweight because they don't eat enough and they put their bodies under stress, and hence why their body stores and all that kind of stuff. That's a massive portion of the population, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What was happening with me was I was eating so much throughout professional rugby, whatever, to try and aid performance, that my body was, number one, anything that could fuel the bad parasites were getting fueled and multiplying. But number two, my gut was fatigued. It couldn't handle the amount of calories. So this was huge for me. So I
So
was
did you have to do like some fasting or anything on that course?
yeah, well, basically, bro, I was eating like, let's do easy maths, right? So I was eating like, say, just under 4,000 calories a day because
Yeah.
big guy, training, whatever, all the
Jeez.
hours of work, whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
but my gut was so fatigued that essentially, this isn't an exact number, but let's say all that it would take out for energy was, say, like 600 to 800 calories in total a day.
Yeah.
All right, the rest was just going through straight to the toilet. So I was spending thousands of pounds, on food, but my body was so fatigued that it couldn't utilize it, couldn't break it down, it couldn't do anything. And then because I was putting all this fuel in, it was making me even more tired and in more of a state of like, how am I going to handle this?
Yeah.
And now I've gone through this whole journey, and I'm still going to do it all the way for another like 10 weeks. And
Wow, you're gonna be shredded.
yeah, but
Is the goal like a physique thing, or is that just like a side effect of getting healthier?
dude, I just want to be in a position where I can have full benefit from the nutrients I'm putting in order to benefit my training and my performance in training and in life and in business and stuff like that. I don't
And
really care about having like a jack six pack. Like
yeah,
I do want to feel confident in my body, obviously, but for me, the most important thing is to just be able to wake up every morning feeling 100%, to be able to perform so well during the day with clients and be fully present all the time with clients, with friends, with business, with training, everything. Like if I can be in that position, then I feel like I'm performing to the standard that I feel I'm capable of.
so what do you think's like the driver behind that? Is it like eating like a basic vegetarian diet and then adding in the protein? Like coming at it from what nutrients can I get from this food in terms of like the greens and the different colored vegetables and everything, and then adding in the protein sources on top of that. Whereas most people come from it as I'm gonna have a steak and I'm just gonna chuck some, you know, boiled spinach on the side or whatever. Is
Yeah.
it kind of you coming at it from the other end of the spectrum,
I,
or is it completely just black magic, crazy,
yeah, I
making
mean,
your own potion type stuff?
to be very honest with you, and I think this is something that what I'm going to drop
It's
now is the
interesting.
most important thing is, you said it earlier. You don't have to know it all. Like, it might take you 20 years to get the black belt. Like, I don't know what the entire journey that I'm going on right now with Ryan. But what I do know is that today I feel great and it's helping. So I think the most important thing for anyone is the the best clients to coach, or the best, the word is coachability, is the person that just trusts the coach. That's it. Like if you fully trust the coach, then you're going places. The worst is when, if I was to say, and put it this way, Ryan, I don't understand because you're not giving me enough calories, so I don't think you're doing your job. Well,
Yeah.
no, because then, as you say, you're looking at the negatives. Whereas, actually, no, I feel great today, so let me just stick to feeling great and doing what is asked of me today, and we'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. And
That's
then
cool.
when I look back, and I'll be able to say to you, and the reason why the reason why I look so jacked and almost look like you do in your photos is is because I went through this whole journey, and I'm learning, bro. What I've learned about the gut in the last 6-7 weeks is huge, and what's more exciting is I can't wait to find out what is there more to learn. Massively, bro.
You've sold me.
Sold, bro.
I'm gonna go call Ryan now.
Dude, call him, man. Like something
But I
that
think
I've been doing since. Sorry, just one quick thing.
there you go for it.
One thing I've been doing at FJ since about March is a lot of our clients, when they come on board, we put them through a basic gut cleanse, just for like 28 days. But it's not until I met Ryan that I realized how significant your gut is in any process of losing weight. So of just being in a proper, like, your best possible scenario, even if someone says they don't want to lose weight, but carrying an extra 10 kilos of fat doesn't make you healthy. Yes, and
That was that question.
yeah, it was a question that you go, yeah, damn right. Like,
I thought it was gonna be like a massive point. Yeah, man. And there's a ton of research that being leaner reduces injuries, but almost in like no one can really explain why. But a leaner person doing the same sport as someone who was 10 kilograms heavier in terms of body fat, they're at a much lower risk of injury just by being lean. So for health from that perspective, less pain, whatever. Yeah, man, totally agree. But in terms of like, diabetes and nutritional diseases, it's common sense, isn't it?
it's huge, bro. It's absolutely huge, man. So, Brew, I'll tell you what. Let's just to wrap this up. I think. I mean, we've got to think of a sick title for this. Number one, it's been huge today.
I got time. Your first day as a lean person. I don't know, something like that.
Oh my goodness! I was just thinking like
Guts and nuts. Guts and nuts. We'll name it later.
Yeah, definitely. But more importantly, thank you as always for your time, bro. You're a legend, and I know you're going huge places with your business as well.
Damn right.
And
I'm about to call Ryan and get my gut sorted out.
sort out your guts. And I mean, I've sent about 10 clients over to Ryan, and I know he's signed about 5 so far already. So I'm really excited to see what happens with them. Like people that are just, they're resilient, they're training, they reckon they're eating well, but it's just they're
not losing weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even now, I'm like thinking of a couple of people that I trained over the past few years that we can't figure out why they're not losing body fat.
Yeah.
And it's because the equations we're using aren't taking into account that the gut isn't processing the fuel correctly.
Yeah, that's the science right there. That is it, because it's like putting petrol into your car, but you've got no fuel injectors, so it's just going right through the system.
Yeah,
that's what it is. All right, brother. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time, bro. I can't wait to see you next week.
That was awesome.
You're an absolute legend, bro.
Hey, cheers, man. I'll do it anytime. Enjoyed it.